anxiety.
There we are. Okay, we're
I
live. Welcome to the
Hola.
Magic Hour podcast with myself, Blat. I already started stuttering, you guys. It must be a full moon. Myself, Reverend Stephanie Siren, and Dr. Anna Stone. And what are we talking about tonight, Anna?
So this is going to be, we're going to pick up where we left off last week because there's so much to discuss and to go over with regards to this new information that, is the first time, honestly, I've seen it. And I've been in contact with the author of the book. And I wanted to share that, what she's told me about this stuff. Because she wrote this book and she's been studying this stuff because of her life experience, because she's also an experiencer of these things, and she
Right.
wanted to have a scientific basis for them. So she basically beat me to my punch, but she's amazing. Her name is Megan, or Teresa. Oh my God, I almost just said the wrong as hell name. Oh my gosh, let me read her name. Teresa Kelly.
Okay.
Dr. Teresa Kelly. And she is the one that also has that website. Okay, so, and some of you that went there said there was a problem with, like the website and stuff, and some of the courses aren't finished. Yes, that is correct, because she had a stroke and she is recovering from that. And so she has not been able to do that. But she has been, we've been in contact, and I'm learning a lot. I'm in the classes. Getting in the clinical parapsychology master's degree, because why not? Why not? It's free. Why not? It's free. You can get it too if you already have a master's degree. So it's only if you have already a master's that you can get it for free. But they have other classes that are free there. But the reason why some of the maintenance is not up to date is because of her. She got sick.
Right.
But yeah, so I wanted to just talk more about that because I know most of you did do the assessment, right? And you got your scores back. And then the definitions of these terms they're not what we're used to. Like they're not talking about, moving objects with your mind for telekinesis. That's not what it says. Pyrokinesis is not about setting fires, that's not what it says. Like, there's a lot of different nuanced stuff. And the more I'm reading about it, the more it's just like, oh my gosh, like this literally, okay, you guys we've been on for a year, right? How many times have you guys heard me say that I believe that this is a function of survivalism, that it goes back to hunter-gatherer stuff, that I feel like it was just a thing that like we needed to have to keep ourselves safe. And then if we have childhood trauma, that stays with us. We don't get to devolve from that and be all do about our environment, right?
Right.
In that book, nearly verbatim, she says the exact same thing.
So she's on the same trail as you are, as far as these traumas, like, make it so that this genetic thing doesn't kick in where we're not psychic anymore.
Right.
And
well, no, I haven't come across that yet in her research. So she was just reading my stuff. She just went to read mine.
Okay.
And so I haven't seen that yet in hers. So it might be the case of like where we both have like one aspect and then, one piece of the puzzle each, which would be crazy. But she's saying that it's also about, it's also about like, how you, it's also, the whole thing is about like, how do you like manage stress? So it's all stress related, right? And like, where do you, in scientific studies, where do we see the best outcomes for psi-ability, right? And it surprisingly, because a lot of us would think probably when we're stressed out, it kicks in, right? But that's not true. That's not it. And that you have more misses when, oh, thanks, Marisol. You have more misses.
By the way, hi everyone. Welcome.
Yeah, hi guys.
So glad you're here again.
Yeah. So I have the textbook, right? And I'm gonna share, like, I'll share like some of it, because it's for my courses. But like when we're stressed out, I guess that's when we have the most inaccurate events, like information coming. And the other thing too is interesting that I did not know is that when they try to measure it in the lab, here's the thing. This is kind of fucked up. So if you say that it's a directional question, like, which way should you go? And you're supposed to psychically know, okay? they want to see if you can figure out which way to go to get to a thing. Like say, they put something in the city, you got to find it, psychic test, right? And that you need to go right, basically. Okay. If you get to the intersection and you decide, if you go, I'm going to go right, that's a hit. Okay. But if you say, you know what, I don't like the left, I'm going to go right. Now that's a miss.
Right.
Because you used negative information about the left to make your decision about going right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? Like, so that is why, one of the reasons why the data is so bad for psychic ability, because they're doing like that's, you know what I mean? They're not counting that as an accurate hit because you didn't get that I'm supposed to go right. You got, I don't want to go left, so I'm going to go right. I feel like that's still legit. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that fair?
No, I personally agree with them. From the viewpoint of being an energetic practitioner, that when I'm calm and I have no attachment to any kind of outcome or anything like that, my read is going to be much more accurate than if my emotions are involved.
Well, yeah. I mean, but like, if is it a miss though if you're taking the negative information and using that to find out the correct answer?
Well, because we're all psychic in that regard, because like, okay, let's think about it for a second, and maybe we need to look this up, but like, think about when your body goes into that fight or flight kind of thing, and like something's happening around you. Yep. How many times have you been able to save yourself or save your own life?
All the time. A lot.
Okay.
Many times.
It's because those other senses just kick on. So like if somebody's in duress, it could be because, but see, that's not truly a psychic channel.
Yeah, it is. So it is. It is. It's in this book. It is. It's called. So you know how hunches, you got a hunch, right? That's not called so like cops. Like if you want to find men that are psychic, you go to the police department and talk to the detectives because they all work off hunches, right? Private investigators too. Like this is, I've known this for a while, because they will never admit that they're psychic, but they have this hunch, they just know they should look somewhere or whatever, right? And in fact, a girl that we knew from high school that was murdered, her killer was caught based on a hunch. Based on the hunch his parole officer had, and he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go check out.
Right.
Yep. And he got there, and the guy was being all totally normal, like nothing happened. But he said he just had this lingering, like, nah, dude, something's wrong, and he had no real reason to go in there, but he did anyway, and that's how he found our friend's keychain. That so that he had killed her, like so crazy, like so hunches, but that's called oh my gosh, I gotta find it again. But it's an impression. It's called some kind of impression that you get, and some people don't ever get that apparently. Like what? I'm so confused by that.
That was something that I did read that was very interesting. Was that our impressions are related to the water in the air. I was reading that on the hydrokinesis, which is under the blue. So if you guys got blue on your test, any higher than 70%,
75. 75. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then you would be able to feel impressions around you, and that is also related to mediumship, like speaking to the other side. So it's actually the water in the air that makes us feel it.
Right. I mean, so this is all science based though. Like this is fantastic for me because this is where I nerd out.
Of course,
so it's all
your inner science, your inner and outer science nerd, I should say.
Right. I mean, so the problem I've had this whole time with all of this has been that there is no scientific data to really support it. I mean, the CIA has studies that we don't have access to. We've heard rumors, like, seen some leaked documents, but like nothing that's really conclusive, right? Like, could be chance, right? But this is actually like describing like exactly, and it makes sense to my mind because this is what I did for so many decades, right? Like I get it now, and I'm like, I needed this. I just really did. Like I needed this so bad. Like even on top of my own experience, I needed to have that scientific.
Well, that's where I started actually with my ritual magic was quantum physics and learning about all kinds of theories and the understanding of string theory and things of that nature, or even stacked universes and all of that, to understand like what is it that we're moving, what is it that we're doing, before I even stepped foot in front of my altar to really dig in.
Right. So there's like some really interesting components to this, as well as like about when we're unwell, when we have mental problem, we have, some kind of disorder or something, and how that can uh mimic psychic ability, right? It can look like it, but when it comes down to it, it's not, but there's also these things like about sensory systems, right? So we all know, I mean, I'm sure most of us know, right, about how the brain works and how the nerves work and how they, how we actually can see or touch or feel anything, right? Like, it's all this relay situation going on. But all of the psychic ability is done via the same way. It's a computer program, guys. Like, I hate to say, this also is validating the idea that we're in a simulation, because that this is all giant computer, because there's packets of information, like how when you defrag your computer and you like just computer talk, basically, like there's packets of information that are accessible to all of us if we know how to access them. It's just like if you have the code to rewrite a part of the program, right? So some of us have that access and some of us have blocked that out or have never developed it, right? So, but it is, you can develop it to an extent, right? Then there's the extra aspect of it, which would be like the connection that you have on your genetic level or on the fact from dissociative level, right? But all of the things that come, guess what it all comes back down to, guys, is trauma. All of it. All of it. Like, it all comes back to stress or trauma. And
that's the initial.
Yeah, because so I've learned that psychic ability is a needs-based system. It's a need-based system. So you have needs in the, like, as a kid, you needed to be loved and taken care of and treated kindly. And that wasn't happening, right? So, if you have childhood trauma. So when we go into fight or flight, we lose access to that prefrontal cortex of our brain. And if we're kids, we don't even have it yet. So it's not even freaking matured. So we lose the ability to rational thought when we're in that moment, and it's just survive or die thought, right? And so our brains, though, because on the subconscious level, we are programmed to procreate, to recreate our, to propagate our genes, right? Like, to survive as a species. So despite the fact that our rational brain is turned off and we literally cannot access it, our subconscious mind is like, well, we got to find some way. And that's how it happens. It's because it forces us, like the subconscious mind, to extend outwards past its own parameter to find the information and find the answer. And that makes so much sense to me. It's like, okay, so it is all about survivalism, what it's about.
Yes, absolutely.
And then on top of that, it's like, okay, so we lose this access to this, and so we get these answers, right? And then when we calm down, we have extinction happening, right, where the threat's over, whatever. We will gaslight ourselves about it because our brain now tells us, like, that didn't really happen because, that wasn't within the normal means of acquiring information, right? So it's really common for people that have these events to happen where they're like, no, to discredit it, like to discredit themselves. And that's a sign to look for, is like, are you constantly questioning the stuff you get? Like, if that's the case, then probably it's coming from, somewhere. Nice. Let me see. Yeah.
Okay, Quixotic Prancer. I wanna approach that one right there. If that's okay.
Go ahead. I'm trying to find something.
Had an existential crisis that scared me into a Kundalini awakening. Yeah, that can happen. We're actually going to do an episode after this one about the Kundalini awakening. And hi, Shania. Hi. Okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Okay. So.
Wow. Oh, wow. Remember how we were talking about, the idea that when people take certain hallucinogenics or psychedelics, that it opens up their vision to more of the visible light spectrum, and that's why they can see these things, because they all exist. They just are not visible to us because we're not programmed for it. So in this book, it says the same thing. says the same thing. She
There we go.
agrees with this. Like, and it says because and then for the psychic thing, so how we see go, like when I see a spirit or whatever, like whatever it is, like the person that's not really here in my house, it's because now, like when we have this, okay, so it says that our DNA is the biggest receptor of light. I did not know that. Okay. And it says human beings typically emit only 10 photons per square centimeter per second at wavelengths of 200 to 800 nanometers. So remember, visible light spectrum is 300 to 770.
Yes.
Right? 300 to 770. So this is 100 lower and, 30 higher, right? And this is in correspondence with high frequency electromagnetic waves, right? Okay. So that is where, what?
Okay, so this explains a lot to me, and I'll tell you why. Because I have excellent night vision. Like excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I'm walking around people at night, they glow. They have a glow.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, I mean, and that's aura too. Like like today, when my boyfriend left in the morning, when he was talking to me as he was leaving, and his head was glowing, like straight up, just like, and I just woken up after a lovely night's sleep. Like I was not sleep deprived, had coffee and breakfast already. Like not, I'd already accounted for any kind of possible reason why that would be happening, other than it is what it is. And his head was like glowing. I was like, dang, like it's really big today, like your aura is really big today. And we can see it with cameras that can see infrared, right? We know that, like we can see it, but the eyes typically can't. So some of us, I guess, have the ability to see those things, and that's how we're able to see the things everyone else isn't seeing, right?
Right. It's
like
visible.
And then also she mentions the fabric, dude. She mentions the fabric, the geometric shapes in the fabric.
A lot of people see the fabric, and a lot of people see the binary code.
The book is called Telepathy, the Physical Influence of Thought, and it's and I got it from that website. It's part of it. It's a textbook for the course in the clinical parapsychology masters. It's like $10. This book is fantastic. Like I'm blown away, and it's it's not an easy read. Let me tell you, this is not like a typical book about psychic stuff. This is science-based, very hard to follow if you're not well versed in scientific terminology or research methods, statistics, quantum theories, but you can get the gist of it. I'm sure, even if you don't have that stuff, I'm sure I think it's worth it. It's $10, like it's a PDF though. If you want to order the actual hard copy, it's like $40. So, I would suggest it. I pay for it. But yeah, and then it says that the emissions of light actually have a purpose outside of the body as well. And that's because living systems exchange biophotons with each other.
Like my silicone.
Because biophoton emissions can be considered to originate from interactions between biological molecules, and such interaction can be described through various physical models. There are several theories, right, about it, okay? And there's non-equilibrium, there's quantum entanglement, there's non-locality, like all of those are there, but it's the idea that the universe is a dynamic network of energy exchange, right? Like we're engaging in that without even knowing that it's happening, basically, is what it's saying. And that makes sense to me. Yeah. Yep. So when we become ill, we're out of sync. Like our homeostasis is messed up, and thus we're not having that exchange anymore, right? Which
That's
is why
energy healers are important for people, because the placebo effect really does work, because it does affect our bodies.
Well, because it's not even a placebo at that point, right? It's actually something happening. Yeah.
It's now been like the light is communicating, and
right.
And it's a circuit that happens.
Right. Okay. So then that's talking about that there's this idea about how we receive information, like what are the circumstances under which we're getting it, and how that matters. There's this hypothesis of functional equivalence, is what it's called, and that if extrasensory information is expected to be contextually useful, like, okay, I get information that is useful for me, right? Okay. Right? Like because that doesn't happen. Like that, a lot of us get information that's totally random and like doesn't do anything. Like we're like, well, I couldn't even use that if I wanted to, right? You're able to
Right.
verify it, but it's nothing that you could verify that would have benefited anybody. And I'm like, why? Why does this happen? Well, I got the answer. It's so that you can do it. That's why. It's just the universe being like, hey, hello, you have this ability. Now I want you to practice it more. That's like what it's
Right.
telling you to do. And I was like, oh, okay, great. That was the answer. You know, so, but if the information, so like we think it's gonna be beneficial, but like if it's not beneficial, like is commonly the case, it can get us kind of like bummed out, right? Like, oh, I can't be psychic because this is nonsense information. This doesn't help me, right? Um, right. But like this is, like if you have a rapid directional switching, which is where you're like going back and forth between different stimuli, right? So what I'm saying is that things are distracting you, okay? Like you're being distracted. The information you're going to get is probably going to be crap. It will be maybe accurate, but it's not going to be something you can use, right?
Okay, I have an
Right.
argument for that, and I want to ask you
Sure.
to clarify this part for me.
Uh-huh.
Um, so when I'm driving is the best time for me to do any kind of mediumship because my hand-eye coordination is going kind of like EMDR, same idea, right? So I'm
Mm.
distracted enough to allow spirit to just talk to me while I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
So that's what it does say something like that in here. It does say that. So yeah, I guess so because the task that so if you're at work and you're just stapling papers or whatever the hell you do at work that you hate, that is not the time, right? Because you're doing a task that you don't like, right? But like if you're doing a task that you like driving, right, and you're in that zone where you're just like it's almost autopilot, right? And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's when a lot of information comes to me when I'm driving also. Like that I love driving. It's the thing
Yeah.
usually, except for I live in Glendale, so like it's a little rough here, but with the driving. But we are the worst in the country, Um
Oh, girl, I live in Fresno. Fresno drivers are horrible.
girl, I moved here, my insurance went up $400.
I'd rather drive
400.
in LA than Fresno. I'm not kidding.
You're crazy. Oh man. Like, I mean, well, Glendale ain't friends. Glendale is different, man. We all know. It's average here. Everyone's in an accident every 2 years. And so far, I'm like, okay. But like, so the need-based thing, right? Like the idea that it's need-based, okay? So the way that you can practice, this is what I really wanted to share with you guys, because I know a lot of you are like, how do I strengthen it, whatever. So the way that you practice is you give yourself a consequence if you get it wrong, literally. So it's like a need based, right? So what is the need? Well, back in the day, it was I need to be safe from tigers or whatever the hell. Now it's like I need to provide my friend with the answer, or they're not going to be doing so well. Or you
Wait,
make it
wait,
up in
wait.
your head.
Can
Like,
we have shock collars? Like, do you remember in Ghostbusters? Like, okay, back in the day in the 80s, they had the Ghostbusters movies, and one of the like opening scenes is when Bill
oh, that's
Murray
right.
is testing these ESP students.
Right. And they're getting it right. They're totally
And
getting
he's
it
getting
right.
it right, but he's totally shocking him anyway.
But then the girls, they're totally wrong. And he's like, oh, that's perfect. He's like, totally. Yeah. Like, that's
So
so
bad.
funny.
But it was so funny. But it just made me think of that because, like, I had been joking with some fellow psychics about like doing a shock collar.
No, it's serious. It's because if you have a negative consequence of not getting the information, it forces your brain to go back into that kind of like response mode of like, I need to do this. It's a need. It's a need. Right. Now, this is not always. So this is in the beginning. So, but if you're able to do this, you can overcome that aspect and just be able to get it on command. Right. Like, so, but it starts with that need.
Right.
Um,
But and some of us are stubborn though, so we get more initiations, right? If we're meant to have the abilities, I think.
I'm not sure, like, if these things are like at this level, I'm not sure that they're connected like that at this level. I think at this level, this is yeah, and not this level. I think that for the advancement past that level, yes, maybe like but like at the beginning level, this is like everyone will probably have an encounter like this, And it's whether or not you decide to like acknowledge it, or if you've been so programmed by science, I hate to say, and you know, and society that this is nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what we're told, right?
Well,
Like
we
we're
were
told that.
programmed for it to be nonsense because that's what was necessary for the military industrial complex. Like we were
And
being programmed as a
yeah,
society, you know?
yeah. Well, I mean,
So
also, like, how is it that this is all bullshit? But literally, okay, literally, magical thinking, right? Is it's insulting. It's anything that you think is like superstitious or whatever. It means that you're like not touching reality. But yet, religious stuff is not included. So the idea that there's a man in the sky with a tablet keeping track of you, watching you do all your dirty things, and keeping literally being a creeper, punishing you, you know, with eternal hell for whatever you know sin that your branch of religion says is wrong. That's not crazy. What? Like I'm just that's crazy to me. Like that's crazy. Like so they want us to believe what they want. And I would look at that if any of you are questioning religion, like I would look at that seriously. Why would
wait,
they
I
let
want to
that
say
one thing stand?
something.
What?
Unless that's Yahweh, the God of Earth, and then we would give this God those values, right? Those human values,
But I
because
mean,
then
but
it
like that's not what they tell us. That no one ever told us about
there's
Yahweh. You know what I mean?
right. There's no grandpa in the sky unless you're into that kink. I mean, you know, if you're into it, go for it. I mean, but
I mean, like, why is that acceptable? Why does it go? Why does the powers that be say that that's okay, but nothing else is? So, like, everything that we know about everybody in charge should tell you by now. If you've been not under a rock, if you have been paying any form of attention to anything going on, that they do not have our best interest at heart at all. Like, do not care, right? So you got to ask yourself why. Why would they say this is okay, but the rest of the spirituality stuff, the science stuff, is not? Why is that?
while we're on that subject, also, I'd like to bring up something that you brought up on
Right.
TikTok that I think is so important for right now.
What?
And it was you were talking about Gen X or
Oh.
Zennials or whatever the hell we are. And you were
Mhm.
talking about how we need to unfollow these celebrities, and I just have to agree with you. I was thinking about that, like that whole mass movement of people moving away from the programming, because we are
Yeah.
so programmed to follow certain things and buy certain things and
Mhm.
consumerism and this and that, and that's another program that keeps us distracted and in
Yeah.
a hamster wheel.
Yeah. It's called a program for a reason. It's a program. Literally, the thing is that, like, you know, when you look into this, you realize that there's like some rules that they do have to play by, right? And one of them is to show their hands. Like, what are they doing? They tell us all the time what the fuck they're doing, and we just don't pay attention, or we think it's a joke. We think it's a, you know, a movie plot line. And that sounds like paranoid, right? Okay, sure, it does. But like, go to Warner Brothers Studios, go to Universal, and guess what you'll find there? You'll find the CIA embedded office, literally, in all of those places. Like, why? Why is that the thing? Like, they control everything that we see. Like, for instance, in Germany, right? Like, I just found this out, you know, that in Germany, they teach about economics, and they are literally making fun of us because what they're talking about is all the propaganda that Americans are fed by our government about how our situation actually is, when the rest of the world looks at us and goes, what the fuck is going on over there? Like, these people have, what was it? 93% of all people are in debt and don't own anything. Like, some crazy numbers, like that, you know, that it's bad. It's really bad. So like, other countries are looking at us and seeing, I guess, maybe the reality of it, and we're over here believing that it's, you know, the best country in the world. Like, I'm a college professor and I could never afford to buy a house. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, that's like,
That's
that's crazy.
crazy.
Like, that's nuts. You know, it is. So this is like, why would they say religion's okay? Like, why would they say God in the sky is like good, right? But everything else is bad because, I mean, honestly, because you have control over the rest of it. You don't have control over the guy in the sky. You know what I mean? Like, that's why. Because it takes away our agency, or, you know, takes it away when we put our hands up and say, okay, you're responsible for my forgiveness, for my sins, like all of those things. Abdicates our own personal responsibility, allows us to continue being assholes to each other, allows us to like be a dick all week long and then go Sunday to church and pretend like everything's fine. Like, and that is the culture we live in now, where everyone just gives a shit about themselves and not everybody else, right?
Yep.
We're closed off more than ever. We're more individualistic than ever. Nobody gives a shit what you're going through. You know?
Nope.
Nah, nobody does. So this is bad. This is not community, right? At all. Like, not even in the slightest. And the funny part is that like what Jesus taught was about loving each other, being kind, and yet it's the farthest thing from what we're doing. What?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like all the time, not just on Sunday, like all the time. Like, you know what I mean?
It's not
Like,
about going to the church. It's about being your divine self. It's about embodying the divinity inside you, about understanding that it's all connected. That's the important part.
That's the thing here, is that it is all connected. Like, that is, I don't care how much you want to. So like in my biology classes when I was teaching high school, I would tell my students that little fact that everyone would freak out about, is that all living things on this planet, all living things, from a snail to a human to a blue whale, share 99% of the same DNA. 1% accounts for all the differences between those life forms. What? How's that possible? All things are made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus. Chomps. How's that possible? All of us.
Hello.
Same exact molecules, just arranged differently.
Yep.
Because we're all the damn same thing. And if you guys saw that woman who put ashes, human ash, under the microscope when her father died, have you guys seen that? Have you seen what human ash looks like under a fucking microscope? Because it's the galaxies, literally. It's literally like freaking star nebulas and shit. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know, that was like a lot for me to see. I just saw that the other day and I was like, what? No way. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm going to pull up a picture of it. I'll show you guys. This is nuts.
Yeah,
Stephanie, I sent it to you, right?
Quite beautiful.
It's beautiful. Like,
you know, it feeds that part for me that believes and is on the path of becoming your own creator God, you know, like the left-hand path of that, you know. And so I really love the idea because we are made of the cosmos, right? So like,
I mean, literally, like quite literally. Like, I'm not like, it's crazy. I mean, I just like, I'm gonna share, let's see if it'll work. Okay, I don't know why this program is so hard for me to share my screen, but like, I'm gonna try. Not slides. I'm gonna share screen. So let's see. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna pick this human ash on a microscope here. Okay, let me know if you guys can. Yep, look, there it is. Here's some. This is what it looks like.
Yep, gorgeous.
That's what it looks like. I mean, this is the first time someone's done this, guys. This whole time, we've had microscopes in science, and it's the first time someone actually thought to look under the microscope at this. And all the people that she asked if she could use her microscopes and stuff, they said, what's the point? It's stupid. Like, literally told her it was stupid, that she wasn't going to see anything other than like gray, burnt stuff, you know?
So I have to say, as within, so without.
Yep. I mean, these are crazy. Her name's Gabrielle Reyes and Fuchs, and that's the woman. You guys should check her story out. It's a documentary. It's amazing. So, anyways, that was that. Like, I mean, I think.
So, guys, think about that for a second. Like the whole "as above, so below" thing. I mean, it works for the cosmos and your body as well. You know.
The microcosm of each, everything's a little Russian, like, again, the Russian doll effect, right? You know, like,
yes,
so
absolutely.
Everything's on a smaller scale, right? Yeah. So the psychic stuff, like, yeah. So if you want to learn, like, if you want to practice your psychic stuff, like, you want to actually get better at it, you need to create a need. So if you read cards, right, what does that look like? Okay, I have a friend. You know, no one likes to be wrong. Right? I mean, here, let's go with the ego. Okay, let's just use the ego as our basis for our negative consequence. Nobody likes to be wrong. Like, you don't want to give someone advice on a tarot reading and then it's like bad, like wrong. Like, that sucks, right? So that's what you know. So you say, I don't want to be wrong. So it makes you have to search for the right answer, right? And so that's what you do. You just provide yourself with these little negative outcomes that aren't really going to impact you, right? You know, in the beginning as you're practicing, but you have to be intentional about it. Okay. So there's like, because things that happen spontaneously mean you have the ability to do it. There are some people that go to classes, I guess, right? Yeah. That I guess haven't had a spontaneous one previously. I don't know. What do you know about that, Stephanie? Do you know anything about that?
Yes, I've heard of the classes, but I have not taken one yet. I do know that I have abilities to move energy around me and also create light. I just don't know how to harness it yet. So if you've had these things happen around you, like for instance, if I'm standing in a room, like across the room, something could pop off. Just pop for no reason, or a whole shelf of books will just sweep off.
Right. Well, there's a reason. There's a scientific reason.
Right. Scientific reason.
Yep.
And what I mean is nobody will be near these things for you to see a physical reason. I should say that a sight and seen physical reason to these people, other than there's something invisible moving these things. And it's also happened, and you remember this, I've done this with light bulbs, making them explode several times.
Right.
So
I mean,
I don't know how to control
glass. Glass, because you can't. So this is the thing that was not really controllable unless you were doing like the meditative state of like the monks do, where they do the transcendental meditation that controls their body, like the parasympathetic nervous system that controls our breathing and our heart that we don't think about, right?
Right.
So this is about having an energy circuit, and you have an abundance of energy running through your system. And like signs of that are, again, fibromyalgia, leg jerks, neurological tics, restless leg syndrome, like any kind of weird like jolts that you get, like brain zaps, like all of those things that we can attribute to like anxiety or PTSD too. Or getting shocked all the time. Like I get shocked constantly, and I don't know. I know why. I figured it had something to do with something, but I didn't know. But here it is in the book as a side effect.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, because I don't know if anybody's ever been around an energy healer in person, but I personally have. And it was very odd to feel what I make other people feel in person. But I encountered it out in the wild. And it's because we have an effect on the environment around us. It's actually measurable quantumly. Like
yeah.
You can actually,
that's what I'm saying. Like
energetic field, and it's about 6 feet away from you.
Yeah, it goes about 6 feet out. Yep. It's your aura. And it's your aura's intermingling with everybody you come in contact with within 6 feet of. Interesting that, like, I know this is so conspiracy theory right now, but like 6 feet was our separation of distance for the pandemic. Why? Why is that? There's no basis in science for that shit. There's no, like, I worked as a microbiologist, dude. That was my first job. Like, there's no, like, I never heard this before. 6 feet. Like, when you cough, okay, that goes way farther than 6 feet. Okay. Just FYI, like it does. And it stays in the air for like half an hour, by the way. It is gross. Okay. So cover your damn mouths. But anyways, like seriously,
it was an experiment.
6 feet was really arbitrary to me. I was like, what? Interesting. But hey.
Yeah, because how can you control how people feel and think if you let all of their energy blend? It's just like plants.
That's why they didn't want us having get-togethers. The get-togethers, right? You couldn't congregate at church even, remember? Yeah.
Right.
Because why?
Right.
Because when you look at the quantum computer,
that builds all of our chi comes together.
No, it does.
To create circuits. Just like when you learn that the trees underneath the ground have a mycelial network that communicates.
Oh shit!
You too.
Look at this, dude. You just blew my mind. Hang on. Boom.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, dude, it is weird. Like, I mean, I just say like that. It is strange. And again, I don't even know where the 6 feet comes from. Okay. Like, I don't know that, like, I mean, I don't know, but it seems sus to me. I'm just going to say, I don't trust you guys.
It's very sus.
I know that I don't trust y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why should we? Why should we?
I mean, well, everything they do is crap. Like, I mean, come on, you guys know, like they're all out for themselves. Like, give me a break. You guys, like, we're being robbed. I'm not going to go on a tangent. Sorry. Okay. So back to this.
But that's why people love watching us, because we do go.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it because because the thing is that it's like I see it happening, and you can't tell people because they don't want to hear it, and it's like, all right, well,
Hi,
hi, I'm good. How are you? I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm a doctor now, Rafida. Yeah. Yeah, so there's this interesting thing. So it's about like, most of this is subconscious, right? Like all the psychic stuff is typically subconscious, but like there's you can move it into the conscious. All right. So, and it says when a rational cognitive task is necessitated, meaning there's a need for it. Okay. Right. Attention to extrasensory pre-conscious information is typically suspended. Okay. As the ESP information is deemed non-relative. Okay. Because of this, attempting conscious work during an ESP test is considered self-defeating. So you are not supposed to do something. You're not supposed to be trying to get. Okay, so basically, when you're doing math, okay, or you're doing science, you're doing something that's rational based in thought. It's totally pointless to try to connect psychically because they're not congruent with each other. As I said, for how many years did I say I'm incongruent with myself because I have this part of me and this part of me, and I was trying to figure out how to make them work together, and it turns out you really can't. Like, you just it's left brain, right brain ish. That's not what it is, but like for a comparison, while on average day-to-day basis cognitive work, rational analysis, and the concentrated mind is desirable, right? You want to stay rational, okay? At such times, the mind protects its focus by switching directional tendencies as a mean to avoid receiving psychic information. That's what it's doing. So our left brain part of its job is to keep the psychic out of us.
Wow.
Right? Like
that's interesting.
So from unwanted potential
experiences. So we can stay more grounded here on Earth. Is that, I wonder if that's the reason for it.
I don't know. It looks like she's not really diving into that at all. She's going just facts. You know what I mean? Like, so I haven't read it yet, but it says, so it says this rapid attention switching back and forth, like attention going from different things, like multitask. So basically the act of multitasking serves to keep you unpsychic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Because women are more, I think, intuitive, and we're also the multitaskers.
Right. Yeah. It says this occurs rapid enough as to not allow the distraction of any experience to occur because you're so tightly bound by your cognitive function that it eliminates any observable extrasensory effect that's in the environment.
That opens a whole new rabbit hole, Anna, because I have questions now, because there are cognitive things, or maybe it's not cognitive, but there are like adult things that I cannot do any longer because I got more psychic.
Okay, well, the rest of this statement is that it says these movements involve cognitive closure and relative certainty, which negate the need for more information. So your brain tricks itself that it already has enough information and it doesn't need to seek it from elsewhere. That's what's happening. Like, no, I already have the facts. I have the facts. I don't need help. I don't need help. Okay. In other words, these mental conditions are necessary for analysis and judgment and typically prevent access to any type of content that may evoke some sense of psychic cognizance, as well as awareness to expressions of subliminal stimulation. Subliminal stimulation is hunches. That's what that term was. It's the hunch thing, right? So, and then when our experiences, and then also when our experiences can't be firmly understood or interpreted, I guess, our minds consult illusions directed towards the possible meaning. So this looks like this. Oh my God, look at that cloud. It looks like a heart. Oh my God, it's a sign. It's just a cloud.
That.
Yeah. That's like that's a little that's like the opposite of the other thing. It's like
that's extra. Those are the people that are extra. Not everything is a sign, everyone. Like signs to me personally need to slap you upside the head.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel.
Yeah. It says we like in these moments, we pre-consciously maintain a directional propensity in respects to the initial meaning. So like you're already made up your mind before you made up your mind. Like you already know what you think that thing is. Like it's like you're like, that's a sign because you want it to be a sign. You know what I mean? Like so there's that. Like that's and then it says that we narrow our focus and close in on an understanding that we want to experience, and that gives us like the, oh my god, that's what this is, because we're making it fit, right? And this happens a lot when you get a psychic reading. You go to a reader, and you know most readers are. I mean, like the average person, like the average reader is like less than 30% accurate, like over a broad spectrum, right?
Right.
There might be times where they're more accurate, but it's never been more than like 80 something percent recorded. So, but what happens is people will hear only the part that made sense to them, and they'll forget the rest. And then, like when they talk about it later, they talk about how great it was and how accurate it was, but it really wasn't. It was like there was a couple things that like might have hit, you know,
resonated.
Yeah. And then people will ask questions too. If you're the people that are not actually getting psychic stuff, they'll ask leading questions and then extrapolate. That's psychology. That's being cold read.
Well,
like
yes, I agree. However, I do have my people ask me questions when I get.
No. That's not what I mean. I mean like when you are leading because you don't know the answer, because you're trying to get the data.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Sometimes I need clarification too because I'm getting more information. I need to figure out like which one am I going with here. Like, is this related to? Maybe I'll be like, is this work or is this like personal? Like, I need to know which one it is.
Right.
That's it.
Like last night I was speaking to someone and I thought the message was for them, but it turned out to be for me, you know, and there was a message for them and I gave them that one, but the one that I was receiving that I thought could be for them actually was for me. And the symbolism I needed to look up later on, and like it connected the dots for me. You know, I mean,
that does happen. That happens. Or you read for somebody and then someone else, it's for another person in the room. You know, because honestly, guys, it sounds like fucking it's like really hard. It doesn't
play charades with the other side.
It's like they use analogy, metaphor, similes. Like it's not. It's just like no one's just whispering facts into your ear like that. You know, maybe occasionally that happens, but like it's all these weird symbolic things that you have to interpret, and you have to have a basis of understanding of them in the first place, right? In order to interpret them. So sometimes they're like it's right, but it's not right. You know, like it's right, but you're not interpreting it correctly.
Well, you know, I will hear names. I will hear names. Like
I don't get names. I don't get those.
Yeah. Okay. Someone will stand next to me who is either an ancestor or someone who is just newly departed, and they will whisper in my ear and they will tell me what I need to tell the person.
Okay, a couple times I've gotten names, but like not common. Usually I get like a role, like a relation, like grandmother, aunt, something like that, you know, but like that I don't get. Because we don't have names, like, you know, like names is a human thing, right? Like, so I think that like, unless that's
I was sitting with a friend and he had said that he had never heard from his departed father. And I looked at
him, yeah.
And I said, well, what about Larry? And he's all, how do you know that name? And I was like, well, somebody's yelling it in my ear going, well, what about Larry? You know, and he was back and he was like, that was my uncle who is my father's brother who is still alive, who I have not called. And I was like, well, then you need to. So
you need to call them.
Those interactions happen. Like that's where I get names, is when somebody's telling me, well, what about so and so, or how about, you know, they know to relate it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, so there's like the talk about like if you guys have dissociative issues, right? You know, like dissociation. There's a aspect to that too, like that plays in here with dissociation, right? And then schizophrenia. So you know how I've been saying too that like the difference between schizophrenics and like psychics and whatever is not very much like how the narrative is told.
Medication. You know? No, I'm kidding.
What?
I said medication.
Wait, you froze. What did you say?
Medication.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, medication. What do you think medication
is? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, it's actually that and because we medicate here, but other places don't, right? Because why do we medicate? We medicate to make you more tolerable to everybody else. It has nothing to do with making you better.
No, there's no such thing.
You guys, I just got my PhD in psychology. Like, I fucking know this. Like, this is something that caused me to have an existential crisis halfway through the program where I was like, I don't fucking know if I want to do this anymore. Because I didn't know this. I didn't know about the medication thing. I did not know about this. I did not know that literally there's zero proof that any meds that are of a psychiatric nature work at all. Zero. I didn't know that. I thought there was definitely benefit. I thought there was some study that actually proved whatever. I didn't fucking know. I didn't know that the reason no one ever gets better, there's zero cases of anybody improving on any mental illness ever. Like, by the way, not one. There's not one study that can show people actually got better and got cured of anything. It's the only part of medicine that doesn't have those outcomes, literally. I was very upset about this. I was like, I don't want to fucking be part of this shit. Like, this is horrible. And that the fact that, like, when you have bipolar disorder or you have manic, whatever it is, and you take medicine for it, it is not to help you. It is to fucking make you tolerable to other people. And that is, I am serious. Like, that's what the fuck. Like, I was like, remember Stephanie? I was really upset. Like, I was like,
I do recall how upset you were about that. And I shared your concern and worry because I went through that kind of stuff growing up in the 90s when you had a out of control teen. They went to the mental hospital during those days.
Yep.
That was running rampant. The insurance companies were making a lot of money off of that.
Yep. Yeah, the thing that's what we look for in psychology as a healthy person is to rebel against your parents. That's actually a desirable trait in a person. In fact, kids that are just complacent and be like, yes, mom, yes, dad, and never question are ones we don't find to have good outcomes in life. We find that the kids that are rebellious have better outcomes, but we tell parents that these are problem kids to put them away, give them meds. Yeah.
Did you ever read Prozac Nation?
No, I didn't read it, but like I know all about fucking Prozac because that's the drug that it started with. Like, oh my god.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So in the 90s, that's what they were putting us teens on was Prozac.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of us.
They put dogs on it now.
Mm-hmm. And the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies were making tons of money off of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what they're doing now with it? Do you want to know? They've rebranded it, called it a different name, changed the pill shape and color, and rebranded it for a different disorder. They do that with all the drugs.
Yes, they do.
So we had 133 diagnoses in the DSM 3 or 4, and now it's like a lot more than that because everything has a disorder and everything has a pill for it, right? But not one shred of evidence that any of it actually works. In fact, there's evidence that shows that it causes other problems that then have to be prescribed medication for those side effects to be mitigated, like tardive dyskinesia. Like that one is permanent.
These medications kill people.
Oh yeah, they absolutely
over time they kill people. Yeah. I watched my aunt who was born in the 40s, right? So she was like 40 in the 90s, okay? And she had gotten out of a bad relationship and she had been abused really badly and had a divorce, and like that's what she went through.
So she had a normal human experience, right?
And then she got electroshock therapy.
Yep. That's the other thing. So before this shit, we used to look at all these experiences of stress, of disappointment, of grief as normal motherfucking human experiences that everybody fucking experiences at one point in their life. Then slowly over time, because like literally I'm going to say it, like Rockefeller shit, like, putting, like the whole industrial complex, whatever, that stuff, like started putting time restraints on how long you could be sad, how long you can grieve, like, etc. Like what's acceptable, right? There is no, what are you talking about? Everybody handles things different, right? But no, you can't get more than so many weeks off work or whatever for whatever problem. So if you're outside of that, now you're abnormal. Now we got to medicate you, right? Or now we got to give you shock therapy or lobotomize you or like whatever the fuck. And literally, like, honestly, man,
it didn't leave room for trauma. It didn't leave room for people to be traumatized or have trauma or know how to release it because shame and guilt was so involved in it that there was no way you could get the proper help and be seen as a human being.
But like we need to like, so I get that some people do receive benefits from it because like we have that comment in the chat right now. But like that is the outlier. That's the outlier here. Like, you know, that's your case. That's very lucky for you. But that's an outlier according to all of the data. Like that's not the norm. Because they're like, think about this. It's based on the fact that you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. Tell me when they checked the chemical balance of your brain. Tell me the test that they gave you that checked your chemical balance, right? They don't have one. Nothing like if you have high blood pressure, they test for that. If they have high cholesterol, they test for that, right? Diabetes, they test for it. And then they have outcomes for those medications and they are effective. They are, absolutely. But the only industry part of medicine that is not regulated like that is psychiatric and sleep. Those two.
Yep.
Yeah. And it crushed me because how long was I on medication for? I was on antipsychotics too. I was on lamotrigine, right? And I didn't have any side effects from that, thank God, right? But I have seen cases of people that are completely, they're like ruined from it, like over time, because none of these drugs are meant to be long term, by the way. Like none of them. If you actually, you know, that giant thing that you get in pills, like you know, the freaking readout, the handout. If you read that, read all of it in a tiny, like the print that's like impossible to read without like a damn magnifying glass. It will tell you that you're not supposed to be on it for longer than this period of time. Yet, it will be continually prescribed to you, right? You know, over and over again. Because these are always meant for short-term relief, you know.
And so I was going to continue and say, so after her electric shock therapy, my aunt had several stints in the hospital because it fried her brain. And then they put her on different antipsychotics.
Mm-hmm.
They continually had them on them that created ulcers in her stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And she was incapable of getting her own medical care and would refuse medical care because of her mental state.
Right.
She wasn't the same person at all that she was before they did that.
Yeah. But there's no way to tell that, right? Because they had the fried brain situation, right?
They do. And so she passed away at an early age.
No.
And she was a shell of who she was.
Yeah.
And it was very sad.
Right.
And
I mean, that's sad. That's so sad. And that, you know, I mean, and Anton, let me see. I believe, I think, you know, yeah. Like, I mean, you know, look at, you guys are familiar with like the opiate crisis, right? What happened there, right? You guys know that, you know, the Purdue came, you know, Purdue family, whatever, that came and said, oh, we have this new drug that's not addictive, right? It's opiate based, Oxycontin, it's not addictive. They knew damn well, proven, so a court record, they knew absolutely how addictive it was. And they told doctors that it was not addictive. And then the doctors prescribed it and they got money back from that. Like they got kickbacks, right? They knew damn well. So like, and they knew it was going to cause dependency. That was the goal. And now look at how much money they're paying. I'm in that lawsuit. Like I'm part of that lawsuit actually because of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, we all at the end of the day get like $14,000. That's it. You know, whatever. But they had to pay out billions and billions of dollars for all the deaths that occurred and like knowing what they did. So like for a second, I never trust Big Pharma at all, ever. Like, because dude, you guys need to look at the history of this. But this goes back to the psychic shit because it's like, okay, first of all, meds are going to suppress that ability in you 100%. It's just going to suppress it.
Absolutely. I'm actually personally on an antidepressant. Like,
yeah.
And I cannot get off of it because I have.
Because it'll make you sick.
Yep. I almost died trying to get off of it.
Right. I mean, you know, like, yeah. I mean, I was able to get off of my benzodiazepines. Right. And those are really dangerous to come off of.
Those are dangerous. I never had to deal with those, but those are very dangerous.
They are. It's like alcohol and benzos are the worst detox, like to come off of, I guess. So, you know, I had to taper off with medical help, right? But I did, and thank God. But like this stuff will suppress that ability in you and also, or make it negative. So suddenly you'll start to have like more negative voices, whatever, if you're hearing voices. By the way, hearing voices is the #1 most experienced psychic ability of all.
I've had clairaudience since I was 14 years old.
It's crazy. Like I was like, what? There's this plate. There's an organization for it called Hearing Voices Network, and it can and you can like take classes and stuff like that. And
Oh, I don't
it's
even
not about being like like I almost joined it, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I should do that. But like it says here about like I want to talk about the mental illness part. Is it says that in cases involving dissociative states, right? Highly dissociative individuals can experience prolonged periods of disorientation, at which adults may behave and think in the manner of a young or confused child. So, like when you dissociate, it can make you kind of revert back to like how you like what I've been saying about how you're stuck at a certain age, in your
Mhm.
subconscious. Okay, and then this will be prominently speckled with ESP information because you're back to that childlike self, right? Okay, but like in cases of individuals with schizophrenia, right? While the ideas are typically highly dramatized by fiction in the mind, right? They still also have high prevalence of accurate psychic information, like very much so, because they're not as suspect as brainwashed, I guess.
Like I said before, I walk down the street, the schizophrenics know what I am. It happens to me all the time. They will stop and look at me and they just know.
Do you know who else? You want to know some famous people that heard voices? You want to know who these people are? Oh,
Yes. Yes.
Anthony
Please.
Hopkins. Okay, Anthony Hopkins hears voices. Sigmund Freud heard voices. Carl Jung heard voices. Um, Socrates, Plato. Yeah, like all the big, people.
You know what? I need to say something because this struck a nerve and I want to talk about it because
Okay.
clairaudience is something that has been shit on for so long. Hearing voices is something that has been associated with only being crazy for so long. And it needs to have its moment because like there is accuracy there that I've never had with my clairvoyance that I've had with my clairaudience. And it's like having someone just give me all the information in my ear.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, I had a falling out with a friend and she went into our Spanish class, 5th period. I'll never forget it, freshman year. And she told everybody, she made an announcement in front of everybody. And she said, Stephanie hears voices.
Who said that?
Who do you think?
M?
Uh-huh. And started laughing. And the whole class started laughing. And started
really?
saying
That's disappointing.
I know. And that was like the worst feeling in the world. So anyone who experiences clairaudience, like I am in your corner. Like I will
same.
Develop
like I hear music all the time.
Anything like that, I will mentor you. You just come to me and tell me you're experiencing it. I'm your girl.
Yeah. So Charles Dickens, Joan of Arc, obviously, Anthony Hopkins, Sinead O'Connor, and then there's who else? Vincent Van Gogh, Veronica Lake, the old actress, that Hollywood actress.
But she seemed esoteric, did she not?
Yeah. Jack Kerouac, yeah. Let's see, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
That's interesting.
Ella Fitzgerald, Daryl Hammond from Saturday Night Live. Like a lot of people, guys.
Oh, Daryl Hammond. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, these are, there's a lot of people here that, I mean, I don't know how they know about some of these people that have already died. I don't know. But, it's not even like the guy from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know what he plays. He's not the lead singer guy though, but somebody else.
John,
yeah, that guy. That guy. Yeah.
I know because I had met him and we had that in common.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, like, so yeah, if you say you hear voices, they automatically go like, ooh, like crazy. But it's the most commonly experienced form of psi ability that is out there. So,
well,
and also I hear music all the time. Like I hear music. Whenever I have like water running or vacuuming, I can hear like full on like choir music. It's like choir music, I guess.
You know what
And it
that
sounds
is,
like
don't you?
underwater kind of, or behind a door. Like it sounds like it's being played on one of those old like phonographs or whatever. And
You know
it's
what that
odd.
is? You know what that is,
But
don't you? That's
no.
from the angelic dimension.
Well, I've heard that before, but I don't know that. Where did you get that from? Where how do you know that? Where does that come from? Where's the science? No, I'm just kidding. I wanna
But
know because, like, I hear it and it does sound very angelic.
I'll bring you the theories. You figure out the science
Yeah,
part.
okay. Yeah, well, what's the theory?
The theory is that music comes from the angelic realm, that like, you know, when you see angels on harps and stuff, there's some kind of weight to that where it's just like they produce music. And so
Right.
that's where it comes from. That's where the creative ability of that comes from.
Well,
And
okay,
so when
so
you're hearing
yeah,
music, it's coming from the angelic dimension.
okay, I'll take that, you know? I'll take it, because I did have my hearing checked, right, remember? And it was I could hear way lower and way higher than the average person. The doctor even was like, "You can hear that." Like, he would not believe it. I'm like, "Did it make a noise when I said it did?" You could actually hear that? I'm like, "No, I just guessed." Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I could hear it, like, barely, but I could still hear it. So, like,
And
I
your
think maybe
dog
it's because,
whistles.
again, like, the dog whistles, yeah, I can those are loud as fuck. Like, I don't know how you can't hear that shit. Are you kidding me? Just like subliminal messages, when people do those subliminal,
What?
like,
Repeat what,
messages, I can hear
please?
everything that's being said. Like, I don't know how you guys
Exotic
can't.
trancer, what do you want us to repeat?
Like, what? Repeat what?
Because we'll just go on a full stream and we're just
We
going.
don't we don't know. We can't even keep track of what we're saying. Um, right?
Oh, okay, it's a
Oh,
joke.
yeah,
Okay,
it's a joke.
got it.
Okay, what again? So, but, like, that's the thing is, like, maybe, like, our eyes, can only see so much of the visible light spectrum. Perhaps our ears are also programmed to hear within a certain frequency of sound waves, and anything above or below that could be where all these other things exist that if you can hear it, you can hear it. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that they're not there. It's just like you're not programmed for it. And again,
Right.
it's just like being colorblind. Like, you can't see greens or reds or something, but everybody else can around you. Like, do you think that they're all lying to you? Like, no, you understand that you just have a difference, right? It's like, why don't we put that same kind of understanding to things like this? I don't understand. I don't know why. I just, like, uh, we know now not to take anything you say seriously.
Now
Just
we
kidding.
do. Now we've learned.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so there's like a lot of different things here, and it talks about, like how we handle stress and how we're supposed to like how for being healthy with our mental hygiene, right? That what what it's going to look like if we're not healthy and are having psych abilities or psych occurrences. It's going
You
to cause
can get
problems.
psychosis. You can also get spiritual psychosis.
Yeah,
So you
that's
have to
common.
be very careful. And anyone on this path will tell you at some point we have experienced spiritual psychosis.
Yeah,
It
it's because it's
does
freaking.
happen.
It's look. You can believe in it, right? You can believe in it. You can think it's real, but when it actually happens to you, like when you actually experience something that is like literally can't be explained by any conventional means, that shit fucks you up. Like it does. Like
Did
it's
you
an
study it?
ontological shock. It's like, wait a minute, this is my truth my whole life, and now it's just been shattered. What do I do? And like some people can't handle that, and some people literally lose their minds like over it. I don't know, man. Yeah, people do. Like that's common. Spiritual. You can go on TikTok, look up spiritual talk, and just look at the amount of people in psychosis
You know what? I
actively.
was I was just looking at that actually. I just reposted something about that too. Who's familiar with the Kat Von D thing where
Oh,
she was into
oh
the
yeah,
and then she
yes.
became all Jesus-y. Is
Oh
anybody
my
familiar
God, dude.
with her story?
I am so great. Like, thank you for sending me that because I 100% agree with that, and I
Yes.
think you should share with them what the fuck that's about because, dude.
Okay. So what this is about is that people who get into the occult like ourselves, who start on the path of, say, a magical person, who practices magic and practices with the unseen forces, there are things that happen where while we're being initiated and after our initiation, there are visits you get from different energies, from different deities, from different demons, daemons, elementals, this and that, things that you wouldn't imagine beyond your wildest dreams happen to you. Okay. And they're visions and it's happening and you're sober and it's real.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn how to wrap your mind around it. And you have to learn how to not be victimized by your ability to see this and now your power within you to traverse the universe like this now. So some people do get victimized. Some people see these things and get so freaking scared, they run the opposite direction to where they need to be told and controlled and given like a program of what to do because they're so afraid of their own ability to handle this because it looks too big to them.
Well, and like I think it also looks like they don't have control. Like all of a sudden they go from having these nice experiences to like having a what they call a demonic one,
Right.
which will happen at some point. It will
Yes.
happen. Like, it will happen. And like and if you don't know how to handle that energy, right? Like then where are you going? You're going back to Jesus. That's what you're doing. You're going back to Jesus because like Jesus will save you, right? You know, and that's what happens. And that's what that's the thing that this happens all the time. But that also tells me something, Stephanie. It tells me that these people weren't having much of shit happening to them the whole time that they were making all this money doing psychic shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's now, this late in the game in your career that you're finally experiencing that shit, like, dude, that's childhood for me. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
right.
You didn't figure out that you got to get mad and angry and like not fucking cower to that shit. Like what?
No,
like
to me, that's somebody that adopted the path in adulthood. Somebody that wasn't chosen for it but decided to choose it.
Money. Yeah.
Yeah, for money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because some people decide that they want this path because of money because they think that's how it works. And money magic is just surrendering to the flow that cash wants to be, like its energy wants to be.
Dude, I have another occurrence today of that happening. Craziness with the IRS, no less. So here I have this question here, and I'm going to tell you, there's a very simple answer to this.
I love this one
great.
so much.
Yep. So if it is coming to you like from if it's coming to you from the universe, right? As in not a person that has passed away, nothing like that. There's no emotion attached to it at all. None. It's just facts. It's just facts. The only time that you're going to have any kind of like upset from it, or like stress, like whatever, is if it's coming from a disincarnate spirit, which is somebody that has passed away, because you're feeling whatever they're trying to make you feel or what they did feel. Okay. So, like a download, it would be coming from the universe. So there would be zero anxiety about it. There would be zero, like it wouldn't cause upset. It would just be facts. And that's what it is. Right. And a premonition, like that is not the same as a download. Like a premonition is when you're seeing what's going to happen in the future. Right. A download is where you get an understanding of something that you already know about, like something that you just already you just understand it. Right. So if it's anxiety attached to it, then it's not coming from like just the benign universe. It's coming from somebody or some right.
Like when I'm channeling and it's pure, right? Like I know I have a clean channel. I feel empowered with my message no matter what it is.
Yeah. Yep. I don't question that. Yeah.
I don't feel dread. I don't feel anything like that in my body. It's just a clean message. So if you're feeling anxiety or anything like that, you're picking up on somebody else or something else around you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and actually the IRS situation is good for me this time. I finally found out that my ex-husband's debt that I got saddled with, even though it wasn't mine, got paid off. And actually I got more of a refund back again, Stephanie, on top of the one they already gave me. They miscalculated. And they owe me another $1,000. And I'm like, what? No, today I opened another letter from the IRS and it went good. That's the second time in a row. Like, what? I'm so happy about it. Yeah, that's like a big thing. Yeah, so like the money thing is good. You got to surrender to that. Absolutely. Because I've been doing it and it's working just great. Definitely.
It is. Right? It's about surrender. And that's the other thing. You're right. It's control also, because like when you realize that you're not in control of everything, you scrape and pull and struggle to find that control somewhere. And so structured religion, especially mainstream Christianity, right, offers that net that somebody like that needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, like we've experienced that already more than once, far more than once. And yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it is. But like, I think it's one of those situations where you either fuck up or you shut the fuck up and you bail. Like, and
Right.
for me, it's like I'm not gonna be intimidated by that because like at the end of the day, all that's happening is that it's a signature recognizing my signature, and I don't like it. That's what's happening. Nothing's
Right.
interacting. No, nothing's happening to me, like other than I'm just sensing it, and it's uncomfortable. It's unpleasant, right? But like
Right.
that's it.
Well, I'm big into warding, so I would say that anything that tries to even come near me just kind of goes away. I've had people who have approached the house who have been like, I feel like there's something completely different, like I
Yeah,
feel I can't, and that is when you're sitting in your power and you're capable of saying this is my boundary, this is me, this is an extension of me, right?
yeah, yeah. Mhm. Definitely. Your space.
Yeah.
Your sacred
Yeah.
space, right, yeah, it's important. It's important to have that. So, like, if you're doing spiritual practices, you need to be doing them in the same place all the time, like, by the way,
Yeah.
that's a thing, like, you have to have like, I have my altar, like, right over here, and, like, it's it's permanent. It's a permanent fixture in my house, like, I don't move it around, like, it's never you know what I mean? Like, and that's where I do all of my stuff, because
You
that
guys,
creates, like
on my altar right now on a platform so that the electronic part doesn't touch my altar, but it
right,
is also a permanent station of my home and of my daily use because I have a daily relationship with it,
right.
right?
I mean, yeah, like, of course, yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. The more that you practice at a certain space, the more that space becomes, like imbued with spiritual, like, energy. So that's a thing too. And like again, we leave signatures everywhere we go. You can
Yep.
look to basic forensic science for this one. Locard's principle of transference is exactly the same thing. It's just a spiritual level is exactly the same. It's like everywhere we go, we leave a trace, a physical trace. Everywhere we
And
go, we leave a spiritual trace.
the more you sit in your authenticity, in your actual authentic self,
Hmm.
shadows included and embraced, and all like continually doing that, you're going to be more powerful.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
going
and, like, practicing it and, like, giving yourself little tests, like, test yourself. You can make a negative I mean, it sounds silly, but you can do, like, like, a negative consequence to be like, "I don't get that extra bite of chocolate." I don't know, whatever the hell it is, you know? Like, if I get it wrong, but, like, real or not real, back to the question from Summer, well, you'll time will tell. Like, I mean, there's really no way for like, if it's real or not real, like, if you have a premonition, the only way you know it's a premonition is when it happens. That's how it works. Like, you know what I mean? There's no it's like that's what happens, you know? Premonitions mean that you saw something before it happened. You're not gonna know if it was actually a thing until that thing happens, you know? Like, kind of impossible to gauge it. Just like the other thing too is that if you're psychic, you don't really know how psychic you are until people tell you. Like, so you're relying on your clients and feedback, to let you know, right? Um, and so when you read for people or whatever, and they agree with what you're saying, right? You still have to take that at like not face value because again, people will, agree with more than what was actually accurate because they want to believe it. So you have to, I'm sure there's some kind of formula, mathematical formula you could use,
I
but
like this question right here.
yes, East.
I sleep east, but
You do?
my altar is facing west.
It's facing west or you're facing west when you're standing at it.
I'm facing west when I'm standing at it.
So it's at the east,
Oh,
right?
oh.
Yeah,
Well, then
that's how you do
never
it.
mind.
Yeah, like, that's how you do it. You gotta, like so same with mine, like, it's on the east wall, but, like, I'm facing
Well,
west.
okay, so I practice intuitive magic so hardcore that I listen to the whispers from the ancestors of where to put everything.
You know
Like
why
all
it's like that? Because overseas is where all that started. So you're facing the direction of where all of it
oh,
began.
yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, to me it was just source of light because
It
the
works.
sun rises in the east.
Either way, it works. It's fine.
Either way
You
it
got
works.
you got the message,
Yeah,
like, you got the message loud, like, seen and heard.
yeah,
And, but it's not a you don't have to, like, that's just, they say it's preferred, but who's they, right? Whatever, it should be always any kind of magical practice is yours and yours alone. Like, whatever we say should matter not. It's about what you feel, what's comfortable for you. Like, honestly, truly, like, if you can't do an east wall, then you can't do an east wall. Like, don't feel bad about it. Like, if you don't have a red candle, you don't have a red candle. Fuck it, like, make do with what you have. That's how this all this stuff started that way in the first place, right?
Absolutely. Like the thing is that like I don't get formal with things unless I'm doing ceremony. If I'm ritualing at home,
Yeah.
like I could just use a freaking edible, like I'm not even kidding, like an edible gummy. Okay, let's just say that. Okay, and like bless it or whatever with my intent, eat it, and that's my ritual. You know what I mean? Like it's all about intent. Yep. It's all about tricking the system.
I mean, yeah, it's about, and you should be engaging in some way, shape, or form every day. Like, I think it's important. It's just like if you're trying to learn an instrument, you're playing every day, right? Like, supposed to be anyways. Same thing with any kind of skill you're learning. Like, you need to be practicing at it. So practice, it's hard to read. I don't know what do you think, Stephanie? Can you practice by doing it for yourself? I don't think so. I personally don't. I think it's too hard.
No, you need other people to practice with. You really do, and at least a mentor at some point.
Yeah.
I personally think, because I've had many teachers, and it's helped me learn how to shape my own practice. But I needed the fundamentals from them to really learn how to do it.
Right. I mean, there's also, like, sometimes I think that a lot of people get hung up on, am I doing it right? And like, there's no right, unless you're doing ceremonial magic.
Yeah.
Right. Then that there is for those. Those are different. That's not like what most people are practicing, right? Most people are not doing that. Most people are doing their own forms, right? But like, so the goal here is like, if you want to develop your psychic ability, dude, just give yourself a negative consequence in the event that you don't get the information. Simple. Like, I'm not going to eat that candy.
Do shock collars. I'll just
no shock collars. It is like learning a language. That's exactly what that's exactly, and it is a language. It is an actual language. It's exactly that. It's like you're getting, like, I don't even know how to say, because like if I say to you, I just got, like, if we're talking and I say I just got that, what I mean is I just heard, but what I mean is I just saw, but what I mean is I just know. I don't know how to even differentiate between them. Like, it's like I heard, saw, see, felt all at the same time, but I don't know which one is actually in charge there. Like, it's just this, I can't put words to it. It's like, it's almost impossible. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, absolutely.
It's like I know I saw it, but did I really see it? I don't know.
Yes, you do, because what you're doing is, as somebody who is on this magical path, right, and has these gifts, what you're doing is learning how to be multidimensional. It's a part of enlightenment. It really is. Like, if you look at extraterrestrials, which I don't have my foil hat right now, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I'm going to make some.
I love it. We need foil fascinators, my love.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some fascinators that are lined with foil.
Can I have like an antenna?
You have like feathers with little antenna. Sure. I've got so much supplies for this, guys. Oh my God.
Oh, it's
a joke. Like, honestly, it's probably not a joke.
I think we're going to do it.
I think there's people that will buy it, actually. That's but
we need like a copper coil with the quartz.
Oh, the Tesla, like, yeah, we could have like a spirit radio one.
Those actually work. I use those in my garden.
They do. Those are crazy. Yeah. Sounds as though describing something like a memory.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it's literally a flash. Like, it's literally a flash. Like, it's nanoseconds. Like, just boom, and that's enough to know a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, it gives you, like, it'll be a picture maybe that flashes of a scene of something, but that includes like the tone, the feeling, the intent, like, you know what I mean? All of that stuff's like just instant. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to describe.
There's also goggles that supposedly.
Oh yeah, the aura goggle, the Dicinian blue, right? That is the Dicinian blue dye.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Man,
And it's
I
a
don't know if
light,
it works
right?
good.
It's a
It's a
dye.
dye for it's a blue dye that they used in like Vietnam or one of the wars, and like they said allegedly that like all of the soldiers started killing each other because they were seeing all the ghosts around them. Like, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I've seen a video where they put like the goggle over the lens of the camera, and it just kind of looks like you would have a distorted blue light, which would then shine. Yeah, like you'd see it maybe, but it's like telling you you can see this without that. Like,
Right.
you can. Like, it's there. You just have to know how to not look at it. That's what it is. You have to not look at it to see it. It's like those pictures. Remember that had like the pictures inside the pictures. You had like soften your gaze to be able to see the image. It's like that, literally like that.
Like for me, it works this way. Like when I just recently read for a 50th birthday party,
Oh,
I
cool.
I was sitting on my couch and I first I feel the person come next to me, and it's always here on this side. And they come and they whisper in my ear. And then it'll play like a movie in my mind's eye, like in my head, like you would use your imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's playing like a movie in my head, and they're showing me what they look like because I don't actually see them around me. I see them here, but I feel
Where?
them.
I see them in, yeah, I don't know where I'm seeing them.
But I feel them next to me and I hear them.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
how mine works.
Yeah, like, mine's like, ow, my attention will get drawn somewhere, and then I'll see a person, like solid person, and but then I'll blink, and by the time the blink is over, that's gone, and now I don't know if I saw them in my house or if I saw them when I blinked. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that fast that I don't know. But
Right.
again, that vision, that quick little spurt was enough to tell me their age, how they look, like what they're wearing, all that stuff, and get to freak me out, to be honest. Like, every time I get like totally startled by that, I don't like it personally.
That's very interesting, Laurel.
No,
Because
that is.
my mom's side is where I get my gift.
Wait, let me see. Let me put that up. Let me see. I've never heard that before. That's interesting. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah. The
Yeah.
spirits. Right. Oh, so
Interesting.
like the mom's spirits, like the mom's ancestors would be on that side. The dad's ancestors on the other.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, they're the ones that I have the most ties to. In fact, my ancestors have had guest appearances on this show before with
Oh.
Anna and another psychic friend of ours, Kendrea.
Yeah. Well, your great grandma. So that's the time I had that xenoglossy phenomenon happen, where I understood in that language I don't speak. Hungarian,
Right.
I guess, right? Or whatever it was.
Albanian.
Albanian, okay, yeah. I don't know. I understood what you're saying. Just wanted to hit me with a spoon.
That's really interesting, isn't it? It could be a completely different language. And
That's happened more. Yeah, it's happened with Hindi also, and another one. I can't remember which one the other one was. No, it was just Hindi. I think just Hindi. But, all right, you guys, we're late overtime. So, like, what do you guys want to know? Any questions?
Yeah, put your questions in the chat and let us know what you want to know from us.
Yeah. And it's full moon tonight, guys. Full moon.
It is a full moon tonight, and I have so much extra chi inside me. So if anybody needs anything focal,
I do. Send me some shit. I'm like down. Like, today's just been like, I don't know what is my deal. Like, today's been a hard.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm being told you need a rose quartz. Okay. So
I have one. I just
grab it.
Don't really want to grab it. Let me go get my cards so I can read. Wait, where are they? Why are they not right here? Let me use this one. Okay.
Okay, we got a first one here. Any messages from Spirit by Shy Gun? Shy Gun, I see somebody stepping up, a man with long, dark hair and a beard. Very long beard. Tall and thin. He almost looks like Rasputin.
Yeah, I see the same. I know what you're talking about. I see it too.
You see him?
Yep. Same person.
Okay.
Yep. Wearing like a robe. Like he looks like he's like some out of a time capsule of some kind of other like
Yeah.
feudal era or some shit. Like I don't know. Like not the right time frame. It's not now at all.
It's not
Nowhere near it.
But I feel he's here for Shy Gun.
Huh?
I feel he's here for Shy Gun.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Oh, that's hilarious. We just got this comment. I'll answer that one as we go.
What? Which one? Let's see.
At the bottom, quixotic prancer.
Oh, we do that too. Just off camera.
Like
you did it for me today.
We do them to each other all the time, like every day, dude. Like it's like having the psychic network built in. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I just like message her today. I'm like, I'm having a day. I'm having a moment. I need your.
I need an adjustment.
Yeah. So
a lot of them though, as we have healed, have become more adjustments than magical, like, you know what I mean? Like we really like come to the surrender.
Yeah, like today. Yeah, she like called me out on my shit. And then the second she said it, I knew I was right. I'm like, God damn it. So Shy Gun, I'm seeing like this is you have like there's 8 of Cups, 7 of Swords, and then 10 of Wands. Like, I don't know, like it seems like you've been up against like a lot of obstacles or like something blocking your path. Like there's been a lot of like 8 of Cups is like there's too much stuff going on, you know, for you to really focus in on one thing. And so you're like kind of with all of it. Then 7 of Swords is like just like it's not a good energy, right? You know, like people are trying to like get on you or get behind your back. I don't know, like some kind of just I don't know, like energy that's not great. And then there's oppression. So like there's I don't know if there's something you're trying to get at that just keeps saying no to you, you know. Maybe maybe you need to walk away from that. So let me see what else I got. Germany. Oh, just sprechen Sie Deutsch. Ich spreche ein klein bisschen. A little bit. Ooh, what's that? And then, ooh, okay. So I don't know if you're in like maybe this is a relationship. I'm not sure. But I just got the Lovers and then the Queen of Wands. So, you know, maybe there's something like toxic, not good. That's just not working out, and you should ditch it for something better. Mm-hmm. There's just things like you're up against something, a roadblock that you need to like figure out what you're really wanting to do, love what you're passionate about or something. And then Queen of Wands is about being you know, comfortable in yourself and like doing the thing for you that you want to do. Like, you know, being a nice, still cool, nice person, but like, you know, showing up for yourself
more.
If that makes sense, right? Like, so have that royal, like that kind of regal vibe about you. But like, if there's something you keep trying to do and it's not working out, it's just time to not, you know? Oh, yeah. I'm going back to school to find out what's next. Okay, great. Well, this is the path for you to go. Find what you love, dude. Loving it is important. Like, you got to love it. I'm a college professor. I know this. Like, I see my students that they're there because their parents want them to do things, right? They're not happy.
No, of course not.
People that want to do it for themselves, those are the happy ones. Like, those are the ones that really work.
I have to answer this question right now.
Which one?
No, it's not the next one in line.
That's okay.
Hi, Fire 105. Okay, so I'm getting the initials JT, and it's not Justin Timberlake, but it's definitely JT. And I see August. August, September is when?
It's the same time I got to for that's anything.
Yeah.
So Shy Gun, that relationship, right? It's oppressive vibe, controlling vibe. But you're doing what you gotta do for kids, so I get it. But you know, actually I don't. I won't take it back. I don't. I see this all the time, and as a teacher also. Like when parents stay together for kids, the kids aren't happy either. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it can be more toxic that way, actually. So I think it's a call for you to like check out where you're actually at, you know, and like you need to sometimes be selfish, right? A little bit if you're not happy because there's like oppression and like kind of like backstabbing. That's what I see, like you know, Seven of Swords, like when someone's stealing from you, like he's stealing right under your nose, you know, like and that could be energy, it could be not necessarily things, but like you know, time, hope, whatever, right? So, but then the Queen of Wands is self-made, right? Like so self-made, like being able to get on with your what you want to do. That's a good. The outcome's good, but like right now, it just looks like it's just stuck. You know? Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so
Okay,
definitely
next
energy.
is Chica.
Hmm?
Okay,
Let's see. What does it say?
among
Oh,
marketing and finance, which field should I enter work in? What will be more fruitful? Finance.
always
I say
finance.
finance. It feels more aligned to your energy.
Oh. Let's see what's the next one. Oh, what's your good news, Noelle? I just saw that. Sorry.
Let's see, where are we? No question, but very excited to share. I got really good news. Yeah, we want to know. Oh, I was trying to show it. Sorry. We went at the same time and clicked it.
Sorry. Oh, comments. Okay, so and then Marisol, I'm gonna check right now for you. Well, actually.
Does my daughter have any
Oh.
gifts?
Yeah. How old is your daughter?
She feels very empathic. Sensitive.
Me too. Happy Memorial Day. Freaking holiday weekend, damn it. Yes. Oh. Yay. That's good. Well, we wish you freedom soon. Yeah. For Marisol, I get like that she can manifest. She'll be able to manifest. I don't know how she is. If she's little. 19. Okay, she's a teenager. Okay, cool. So yeah, she can like probably what she says happens. Like so she needs to maybe watch her mouth a little bit. You know, like careful what she says. Like her thoughts can create her reality like in real time. So she needs to be careful of that, you know? So we tend to use that for negative. Typically it's easier to do the negative, draw the negative towards us because that's what we're like programmed to live in, right? All the time. Everything sucks. But you know, like she gotta if she starts to have like negative outcomes, like friend group stuff, like, you know, just like the like constantly having issues. I mean, kind of teenagers, it's kind of normal though for teenagers, but as she gets older, when that stuff starts to kind of fade out and if it's still happening, then you know, she might want to consider like getting a mentor to train with so that she doesn't do that anymore. That makes sense. Don't know. She's a Leo, so of course she can do that. Yeah, that's a thing. Like it's a fire sign thing. I'm a Leo too, so I get it. And then what's the next one? Let's see.
The next one is Summer. Will the new hire for my area affect my money flow, or will there be plenty of opportunities for both of us to share?
I see no opportunities for sharing. Sorry about that. I got the Ace of Swords here, so you know, no opportunity.
Yeah, I personally would tell you don't sell yourself short though either. Like don't like give away too many opportunities that could be yours also. Like don't sleep on it just because you're like kumbaya and all that, you know. It'll be fine. It's just like you definitely need to learn how to stand up for yourself and engage in these opportunities.
Yeah. The new hire. Sorry, I just lost. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. So like, I mean, there's always going to be enough to go around, like, you know, unless you're in the lack mindset, then yeah, it won't happen. So just know that there is and live it as such. Like, don't even question it.
For sure.
You know?
It's like don't let the opportunity go, but also enjoy, you know, the situation.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I just dumped way too many. So now the Germany question. Ramona's definitely very. And you guys moving to Germany soon. A lot of change is coming. Okay. Hey, what's going on? What's the overall message for Ramona? Ramona is the name that they use in all my German textbooks, and I don't know why, but they did. I swear to God, every single one.
Why am I seeing baby for marriage?
6 of Cups. King of Wands. Looks good so far, I'm not seeing anything. I mean,
I just see like marriage, real estate, like all these things being acquired.
Yeah. King of Wands here, like, and the new and Ace of Swords, new opportunities of people that have money, like stable, etc. That looks good. I wouldn't complain about that. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Marisol. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like Germany for this person is actually a really good move. I feel like they're moving into a place that on their astrological chart would actually say it's favorable for them. Those lines that we talk about. Like I feel like within that area, like they're moving and it's creating luck for them. It's more it's more of a place they can flourish.
And money. Yeah, there's like money too, like King of Pentacles is here, so like it looks like it's gonna be, I don't know where you're moving from. Like I don't know where you're at currently, but perhaps it's like a better situation for you than if you're here in the States. I guarantee it will be a better one. Like because it ain't feasible to live here anymore. Literally. Did you hear the other day that the median price of a fucking 3-bedroom home in California is $906,000 now? The median average. The median average. Like what? That's
okay. I want to address this question right here now. I want to learn Akashic reading and QHHT. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing to help others? Okay, so Lolly, I want to ask you a couple questions first. Are you wanting to do this as a career to get paid? Because if that's why you're doing it, don't do it, because the healer community will all tell you right now, there's no money to be made right now. There's none. People are hurting everywhere. And everybody I talk to barely has clients right now. So if you're
because you want to afford extra, we don't have spending money, right? Yeah,
right. That if you're looking for a career in it, it's not going to happen. If you're doing it because you want to help others and you want this skill, then by all means, absolutely.
Oh, she doesn't need the money. Then right.
Then by all means, do it, because I do feel you would get a lot of emotional gratitude. What's the word I'm looking for? Like mana from it. You would feel really good. It would feed your soul.
Yeah, like so as we heal, help other people heal, it helps heal us as well. Like it is like every time we help somebody, it's like a little chip off of the whatever trauma we have underlying as well. So it's like a reciprocal thing. It's nice, but it's also very exhausting. Very exhausting. So okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta make dinner. I gotta go. I gotta work tomorrow.
I'm gonna go make some cream cheese rangoons.
Oh, that's not good. I don't know what I'm making yet. All right, guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you always as usual, and we'll see you next week. And let us know. Give us options. Give us ideas for like topics.
Next week we'll be talking about Kundalini awakenings, though, for sure.
I'm gonna learn all about it because I don't know shit about it. So like I am gonna be. Stephanie's gonna be on charge of this one because I don't know crap.
Great on that one.
All right, guys. Love you guys. Awesome. Happy Memorial Day and happy full moon. Get some work done.
Yep.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye guys. Love you.